welcome to my channel. Tiffany here of Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, and if you're new to the channel, I'd love to have you as part of our cosplay building community. So subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to also like this video. On today's cosplay tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made the Jagged Blade Grazie from Overwatch 2, and this is all EVA foam. This is also a commission for one of my good friends, so make sure to check out her company, which is Glass by Groves. I'll do a link in the description, and she does amazing anime-inspired glass work, so check it out. And let's get started. And here's everything that you will need for making this knife, and I'll have links to all of it in the description, as well as you can find the blueprint for this knife available on my website. To first start off, we're going to talk about the blade section. And the blade section is two pieces. One of the pieces, which is going to be the actual main blade, we're going to be tracing it onto 6mm high density EVA foam. And for the smaller back section of the blade, we're going to be using 4mm high density EVA foam. And once you have those pieces traced, you can then heat treat it with a heat gun and then cut it out using an X-Acto knife. And because this is a knife, you probably want this to come to a point on the edge. And for doing this, I first got my blueprint and I traced where the edge of the knife blade is going to start to taper towards a point, putting this on both sides. And then you'll want to do a guideline down the side. This way you know where the point will meet. Then go to your workbench and grab your Dremel and your sanding drum and sand all of these pieces so your side and your top lines will meet up. And this will give you nice angles so that way your blade will actually have a sharp point to it, kinda. Next, grab your contact cement glue and apply this to the bottom portion of your blade. This is where we're going to be attaching 2mm EVA foam strips to give a rope-like wrap finish, followed by attaching the second half of the blade. Then put that to the side, and it's time to work on the gear-like pieces that are on the top part of the blade. For these, I'm going to be using 4mm high-density EVA foam, cutting out oval-like sections first, and then afterwards, I got Costools hole drills, and for these are going to cut a circle, and I didn't want to pierce all the way through, so I only pierced halfway, making a inner circle first, and then an outer circle to give that kind of rivet grommet-like look, and then cut out the rest of the inside section with an X-Acto knife. And to finish them off, just round the edges with a sanding drum. And for attaching them to the blade, I first traced where I wanted them to lay on the knife on the blade section, and then applied contact cement glue to the back sides of the gears as well as to the blade, waited for the glue to fully dry, and then attached the pieces together. Moving on down to the handle guard section of the knife, and for this I cut two pieces of 10mm EVA foam and attached them to either side of the blade, and back to the workbench and used my sanding drum to sand all of the edges flat, and then I went around and rounded them ever so slightly. Now for the handle. This piece, I'm going to be cutting two pieces out of 4mm high density EVA foam, as well as one piece out of 10mm EVA foam that we're going to all stack together to give us the correct thickness of the handle. And when they're all cut out, I then went to my workbench and added some details where there was a slight groove on the inner part of the grip, and then once again with contact cement glue, applied the glue to all of the pieces, waited for them to dry, and then attached them together. Then back to the workbench, and this time I'm going to be sanding the edges of the pieces flat so they all look like one piece, followed by doing a slight rounding of the edges afterward. And when you're happy with the result, attach the handle now to the blade section. There's also on the handle a slight wrapping for a grip, and for this I used 2mm EVA foam, cutting each piece out individually and then gluing it together, cutting off any of the extra foam with an X-Acto knife. The last part is the end spike, and for this I cut out 3 pieces of 6mm high density EVA foam, gluing them all together and then sanding them so that way they were a cone-like point. And once that was done, just assembled the last few pieces together, glued that to the end of the knife, and that completed it. And that, guys, is how I made the Jagged Blade, grazie, for Junker Queen. And I hope you found this video helpful for making your very own one. And if so, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video as well as subscribe to the channel to see how I then paint this blade next. And a big thank you to all of my sponsors here on YouTube, as well as all of my members here who financially help support me so I can continue doing this as my full-time job. But most importantly, those legendary members, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. And I will see you for our next video, which is how to paint this. So stay tuned. Balance, balance. It is correcting itself. There we go. Blade, grazie. How I made the Junker Queen.